So, hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Get Moving podcast once again. So, joining us today is an NCAA All American, how I would like to call it, a person who embodies the bridge between elite European training sessions and the American college excellency here. So, he's working from Munich in Germany right now, but he has spent over a decade deconstructing the mechanics of speed, specializing, of course, into the explosiveness of demands of a sprint backstroke discipline that he is actually doing it and specializing it. So having navigated all of this with the high performance systems of three distinct colleges and all of their programs that I used to know from him. So he has developed very rare and panoramic perspective on strength, conditioning, and coaching philosophy on the other side. So I think today his views from the weight room, from the gym, is not just like a tool for the podium, I would like to call it, but for a laboratory for the movement perspective, for the longevity and sustainable human performance. And I think that has the weight. So please welcome me for today's guest, a true student and a teacher of the sport of swimming, joining us today, Paul Melcer. Paul, it's a great pleasure to have you on my podcast here today, man.
Thank you so much, Ivan. It's a pleasure to be on the podcast and to be hosted by you. And I'll be happy to share some of my knowledge and experience as an athlete. And hopefully it'll help some of you guys out there out. So let's get started.
Definitely, definitely. So, like I said to you earlier, the first thing that came across my mind, so when I saw your page, so having swum from multiple colleges, so and using their programs. So I saw you have a Delta State and Lynn University. So what was the single biggest difference you observed in their representative of strength and conditioning philosophies that had an impact on you, of course?
Yeah, so yeah, definitely. I actually went to three different colleges in my
Mm-hmm.
career and obviously three different strength and conditioning programs. Um, in my first year, I swam for SFC in Brooklyn, where the philosophy was kind of a smaller focus on heavy lifting. I was also kind of new to the weight room, coming out of high school, so that was fine for me personally. The goal was really to learn good techniques and build the fundamentals of weightlifting. What we did there is we did three lifts a week, um, one primarily upper body, one primarily lower body, and then one lift was like a conditioning circuit, just to get the fitness and the overall conditioning
Yeah,
um, up. I remember from that time that we did a lot of trap bar deadlifts to build overall strength and a lot of injury prevention stuff. So, for example, even we never even bench pressed. We just push pressed from the floor up, um, to have the shoulder in a little bit less range of motion and keep them healthy.
for sure.
Then moving on to my second year, I went to Delta State University, that's in Mississippi, and that was a big football school. So the whole strength and conditioning program was really like football based and kind of almost like a military type philosophy. So we did extreme loads and very, very high intensity and volume. We were training up to three times a day during
Wow,
during the season there, and the sprinters had five gym sessions a week.
wow.
One of those gym sessions was again a circuit, yeah. And then also every single lift ended with stadium runs or sled pushes or some kind of finisher to really burn the muscles and the body. And this type of training, it helped me improve in the gym. All my numbers went up, my athleticism went up, but it didn't translate to the pool at all for me. I didn't get any faster that year. So I transferred again to my third school, Lynn University, where I'm now doing my third and now my fourth and final year. Um, and here strength and conditioning is also a fundamental part of sprint training. We lift 3 times a week. We do one lower body session, one upper body session, and one full body session. Contrary to Delta State, it's really a very science-based lifting program and philosophy. So we rarely max out on weight. We really focus on moving the weight fast, being explosive, and just being athletic. So we do plyometrics in every session. And we also let the body rest more when it needs to. So after long training blocks, we do a deload block in the gym to really give the body a chance to recover again. And this type of philosophy, for me personally, had the best results in the pool. I improved a lot, and my athleticism went through the roof while I was training here.
Well, it sounds like you cover practically all of the details when it comes to strength and conditioning here to me. But for you, specifically as a backstroker, I think that your start and the breakout are very critical as a discipline. But can you, for example, name for our audience here maybe one or two specific gym exercises that you feel that directly can translate more into that
Mhm.
powerful underwater dolphin kick or just a leg kick for a faster breakout that is actually needed for your discipline?
Yeah, yeah, of course. You're right. The start and the underwater phase of the
Yeah.
backstroke, especially in the sprint events, are essential. So I think the most important dryland exercise for that are plyometrics. They just train speed, coordination, and they teach the body to have the muscles and the tendons and the fascia just all work together. They teach the nervous system to fire at maximum output. Um, so examples for exercises would be box jumps, broad jumps, even sprints on land. They just make your whole body athletic and ready for max output. And then additionally to that, would be heavy lifts, of course, just to build strength and increase that maximum output. So for the lower body, I think most important is squats and cleans, either hand cleans or power cleans. And then for the upper body, pull-ups for swimming, and then a pushing movement as well, like bench press. And then finally, the core is also very important for underwater kicks. It comes really from the abs and lower back. Um, so yeah, I do ab routines and lower back circuits that help with that.
Okay, we'll come later to that because I think also that core exercises are very good and very important in a discipline such as yours. But how often did your strength and conditioning program changes throughout the season? For example, comparing from off season to the in season. And what was for you personally the most challenging change that you
Mhm.
have to do physically in order to gain not just speed, but to change yourself as an athlete? What do you think?
Yeah, so the strength and conditioning program is heavily periodized throughout the season. So starting in the off season, we do a lot of um, strength work and building
Yeah.
muscles with high volume. Um, our lifts in the off season often consist of up to 7 to 8 sets for one exercise.
Hmm.
Um, but of course, we also want to stay athletic and healthy. So we do some speed work as well, not as much as during the season, but just to stay fast, and some injury prevention exercises to stay healthy. And then in the season, we start with a higher volume and a lower intensity. And then when we're getting closer to the main competition, we decrease the volume and increase the intensity. And then moving into our taper phase, which is the 2 weeks out of our main competitions, we really don't even touch any heavy weight anymore. We just use moderate weight and move it really explosive and um, fast to just keep the nervous system sharp and to not fatigue any
Yeah.
further ahead of the competition. And I would say the most challenging phase of this periodization is always between October and November, and then again in January, where it's just a lot of volume paired with a lot of swimming. Um, you're really never feeling good at
Yeah.
all, always kind of sore and fatigued. But yeah, at the end of that phase, you'll be a lot better.
Okay, that's very good because actually that leads to my next question that I wanted to ask you because I'm very curious about it. So, like you said, in a college swimming, the training volume is very intensive. And how do you actually, you personally, with your coaching staff, are you managing that scheduling form between the gym sessions and the pool workouts to ensure that you're actually moving forward and complement it with these two sessions together and combined rather than just causing fatigueness? So what is the strategy here for you to navigate?
Yeah, the strategy is always to have the gym and the swim sessions really match when it comes to the period and the time of the season. So if we are going hard in the water, we're likely also going hard in the gym. There's no point in um, reducing the gym, for example, when you're also um, going hard in the water because you'll be fatigued
Yeah.
anyways. And then coherently, if we rest in the pool, we're also going to rest in the gym um, to reduce fatigue and perform at our best.
Okay, so everything is correlated here. But is there maybe one gym exercise or maybe just a specific lift that you absolutely hated doing it, but you actually knew that was essential for your performance on a personal level? Is there any kind of exercise here that you want to share
Um,
that gives that secret
I
sauce
have
to
to
it?
think of pull-ups actually.
Pull-ups, yeah. So the pulling.
Yeah, pull-ups for me, they have been, I don't know why, but they always felt nasty to me. I
Okay.
never really wanted to do them.
Hmm.
But for swimming, it's really essential to build that
Yes.
pull strength of the stroke.
Yeah.
Um, so I just bite through it and I eventually got quite good at them. Um, but yeah, I'd have to say pull-ups.
Okay. So you work on your weaknesses. But when it comes also to the techniques and also for specific exercises here, for example, when I remember, you also have relays. I don't know if you are part of it, but I know that the starts and the exchange here are very crucial. And what type of plyometrics here are you specifically
Yeah.
doing on a larger scale for you to train, like to give that power output that is actually going to focus you to ensure that you are more explosive from the blocks, um, just without sacrificing any other thing, just anything else, without sacrificing anything else here.
Hmm.
So, what type of plyometrics are you doing specifically here?
Yeah. Yeah, so the relay starts, for some of you that aren't that familiar with
Yeah,
it, it's really a big emphasis on timing and then on
yeah,
precision. You want to hit the step over, hit the
yeah,
block in the right
yeah,
place at the exact right time. So you don't jump any earlier to get the team decute, and you don't jump any later to waste time, right? So it's really like a short penultimate step into an explosive broad jump into the
yeah,
water. So I think you could say that it's one of the most athletic movement in swimming. So it requires a lot of coordination, power, and a
yeah,
fast first step.
yeah,
So when it comes to training for this relay start, I think plyometrics that train coordination, rhythm, and quick feet especially are important. Um, so, for example, we do box jumps, sprints on land, broad jumps, just any type of maximum effort jumps, and then also quick ground contact jumps. just like rebound jumps, for
Yeah,
example,
drop jumps.
up and
Yeah, yeah.
down a box.
Okay. So thank you for breaking us down. But also, the backstroke discipline requires a lot of shoulder health, stability, or just basic strength. What is, from your perspective, a go-to exercise when it comes to that movement for shoulder care or just injury prevention? So what exactly are you doing maybe separately or extra work for you just to stay healthy in the shoulder area?
Yes. Mhm. So pre-pool, before I hop in the
Mm-hmm.
water, I always work on some mobility to open up the
Yeah.
chest and open up the shoulders. And then I do internal and external rotations with a TheraBand, as well as scapular movements to keep the joint in place, like scapular push-ups, for
Mm-hmm.
example. And then post-pool, after the swimming, I like when I'm particularly tense or I feel maybe a little inflamed in my shoulder, I like to take a lacrosse ball and roll out my shoulder. That'll do it for me personally.
Okay, and how much time do you actually dedicate for you for like to warm yourself up or just to cool yourself down? I know that also the recent study shows that actually
Hmm.
doing on a separate day, mobility and flexibility work can actually increase the strength up to 40% just in that area. So are you doing like during at the same day, or is it just like a recovery protocol for you also on the separate days for you to incorporate something like this?
Yeah, great question.
Mm-hmm.
I usually take 20 minutes to warm up before every practice, whether it's swim or a gym practice. So I do dynamic stretches that get me flexible for the workout and increase the blood
Yeah.
flow. And then I usually do some kind of rehab, injury prevention movements. Um, like the TheraBand exercises, for example. And then additionally, after practices, I do yoga sessions, mobility sessions, and foam rolling sessions. They help me best to recover. I'm always a fan of active recovery before seeing an athletic trainer or doing ice bath or anything like
Yeah.
this. Um, for me, moving the body, stretching, and flushing everything out always works best. So I kind of look at when I need it. Sometimes I do it 3 or 4 times a week. Sometimes I only do it once a week. Just depends kind of how I'm feeling.
Yeah, yeah, but it's definitely important, and I think you're on the right path here when it comes to it. But I don't know if this is a like kind of myth. But I don't know. Also, my cousin is a water polo player, and there is like a myth that
Okay.
many swimmers fears of bulking up or adding just some extra weight. But for you as an elite swimmer, what kind of rep or set range did you focus on the most of your time when it comes to weight room, just to build that explosive power without adding maybe some unnecessary mass? When we let's
Mhm.
just, for example, put the caloric intake daily requirements out of the equation. Let's just stick to the training session here.
Right. So I think that is fairly individual. For me
Yeah.
personally, I never struggled with bulking up or adding too much weight. For me, it was always the opposite, actually, that I couldn't gain enough weight and enough muscle. So when I was younger, say 17, 18, 19, and I'm getting into strength training. I was working like 8 to 12
Okay.
reps. And now when I'm 20, 21, and I feel like I've reached an ideal competition weight for me, I really focus on like 2 or 3 reps to practice my max outcome instead of getting into that hypertrophy side of strength training.
Okay. Okay, good. But you also mentioned at the beginning of our conversation here that the core exercise and the value of the core is very important, very crucial here. But can you also like dissect and describe the role of the core in your events, or just like in a training sessions in general? So is it just the whole about the static strength, just isometrics, or maybe even some rotational here power
Mhm.
involved? So what is your favorite core exercises, or maybe a couple of them that you will separate from the rest of them that actually changed the game for you?
Yeah, that's totally right. The core is essential for swimming. It's needed to hold streamlined positions and to be balanced in the
Yeah.
water, but it's also needed to generate power. So we train both isometric control and we train explosive core power. So for that, I do a lot of ab routines. They just condition your abs, and lower back routines, same
Yeah.
there. And then my favorite exercises to generate power um, are really explosive toes to
Those.
bars for the abs on a pull-up bar.
Yeah.
And for the backside, I like to do weighted back extensions. So they're for the lower back, and they will help you get that power into the dolphin kick.
Okay. Okay. So thank you. I will have that in mind. So I presume that you are doing like everything when it comes to the back hyperextensions. Do you also doing like unilaterally here, also with some weight, or even static? So it's like engages in all dimensions here. But when it comes to
Yeah, for
when it
sure. And rotational movements as well.
as well. Okay. But when it comes to mindset and recovery here, you also mentioned there are definitely the days when you feel exhausted. And how do you mentally approach here when you know that actually you're going to approach that heavy week workout? It doesn't matter if you're working in the gym or the pool session after that. So how do you manage and navigate yourself? How do you talk through from that perspective? Can you give us a hint? Also for the younger generations.
Yeah, of course. So I think mentally, you just have to know that these times, these phases of the season, they're gonna come,
Yeah,
and you have to be mentally ready for it to not feel good, to be in pain, to swim slow, to jump low. That's just part of it. It's tough, but afterwards you're just gonna be a better athlete.
yeah,
Also, something that helped me mentally as well is this little journal here that I've started
awesome.
last season. So I I write down all my trainings in here, and I write down the how I feel and how I did in the training. And it helps me because sometimes after a bad training, you maybe feel like you've lost some confidence in yourself, you have some doubts, you're feeling slow. Um, but when you journal every training and you can look at it like, okay, 2 days ago I had a great training. Yesterday we did all of this training, so it's okay if I'm slow today.
Yeah,
I'm maybe fatigued, then that'll get me mentally in a much better spot. And yeah, I didn't believe in it at first. A friend, actually, a teammate, gave me that advice, but ever since I've been doing it, I really love it, and it has a lot of benefits. So I recommend that for anyone. And then also after every training week, I note down my highlight of the week. So whether it's a specific set or a specific lift, something that really stood out to me this week. So we can end the week on a good note always.
definitely. The retrospective is a key. So when you can come back in the reflective to the whole week, or even you could said from day to day basis, is actually the way you are gonna be totally honest with yourself, and that's actually the practical. So keep doing it. But working and coming from Munich right now, you actually know the American side and the European side. Are there any training or strength philosophies that are different and that you have learned also on that internationally basis, uh, that actually maybe you would like to do it differently from the approach perspective, or just can you give us a couple of insights about the differences between the European style and the American style here towards
Yeah,
swimming
for sure.
philosophy?
Yeah, I have to say that weight training in Germany and in the US are uncomparable. So
From
in Germany, um, really any program that I know in Germany, there's very little emphasis on strength training. It's often not as professional and integrated into the training structure. Um, the training itself basically consists on a lot of swimming volume, even for sprinters, um, and dry land, but barely any weights. And if weights, then they're more fundamental.
okay.
In the US, however, um, especially as a sprinter, there's a huge emphasis, um, which helped me improve a lot.
No.
And
So
yeah,
there is a lot of more structure in US. So basically, so you will follow the periodization model according to your competition and of course the seasoning style. Um, so do
yeah.
you find it a European style that is counterproductive, or maybe for your perspective, because you already knew, so you maybe practically you have the time to get engaged uh, on a personal level here to upgrade and maybe make the difference, um, according to the peer, to your peers. Do you think that like as a fortitude, or maybe like a disadvantage?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of great athletes coming out of Europe. And of course, there are also athletes that are better than me. Um, so I'm gonna be humble here
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna um, talk bad about the European system. I just can say honestly that for me and a lot of other speed specific athletes, sprinters, um, it's this practice is not ideal. And I personally improved a lot athletically and in the pool through weight training.
Okay. So on the personal side, is definitely, I also am a believer. It doesn't matter what kind of sport discipline are you in. I think you have to embody and finish the circle, everything that is required. And so I think that gyms is one part of it.
Yeah,
But for example, you're journaling.
yeah, I agree.
This is what I like about you. So, what are the key indicators that you look for on that daily basis? Like when it comes to the pain, when it comes to the fatigueness or muscle soreness, that tells you it's maybe time to ace up, or maybe
Hmm.
change your strength training routine here. Can you give us a couple of hints or
Yeah,
indicators here? Because you're reflecting. So I think the other guys, the other my clients and the young athletes, they can learn from you here. So I think this is very important for them also to maybe do the self-reflective kind of
hmm.
stuff.
Yeah, totally. I have to say that internal body awareness
Hmm.
is absolutely
Yeah,
essential when it comes to not getting injured, getting sick, or generally being able to handle a professional training
yeah,
volume and intensity. So I listen very closely to my body and I pay attention to every cue that it gives me. So when I'm sore, I evaluate if it's a good soreness that comes from a productive
yeah.
training, or maybe it's a bad soreness that carries some inflammation and maybe increases the risk of injury. Then I have to see a AT, athletic trainer, and have it checked out, get it taken care of. And then also when I feel fatigued, tired, or when I feel like I'm getting sick, um, then I stack up on my supplements. So I shoot a lot of vitamin C, zinc, magnesium, fish oil through my body to help flush that disease and that fatigue out. And then I focus a lot on sleep, hydration, and nutrition as well. So definitely listen to your body. Um, you'll have a better career.
Okay, but for example, let's just stick with this a little bit more. Is there any biohacking modalities that you're also sticking it a little bit deeper, that you're going maybe when it also comes to your recovery routines here? Is there something else that you are modifying here? For example, are you doing maybe some blood work? Are you doing, for example, red light therapy, cryotherapy? Is there any some other thing that you're doing except of just modifying the training sessions, the training wall of the intensity, and like you said, doing the supplementing and sleep, which is of course also a very important part of it.
Yeah, I think again, this is something that is kind of individualistic, and if you listen to your
Yeah,
body, it'll tell you what it needs. So if you feel more tired, you feel like you can't get going in the morning, maybe you need more sunlight, you need more vitamin D that'll regulate your hormones.
yeah,
Um, it's just, yeah, when you train professionally over a long time and you keep listening to your body, you will learn what you
yeah.
need personally and when you need it.
Okay,
So just be attentive and maybe journal, write down how you feel. That's the best advice I can give
for
you.
sure, for sure.
And I have to say, don't don't try to overcomplicate things. So I mean, there's a lot of great recovery tools out there, but sleep, nutrition, hydration, and sunlight, I think, always comes first.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But this is also very important. And I think what is for you, maybe when you see and reflect also to the other athletes, very young athletes. So what do you think that is the biggest mistake you see
Mhm.
that also the younger swimmers and younger athletes are doing when they're also starting incorporating their strength training regimen into their own routine? What do you think that they're making the
Yeah,
biggest mistake
I
here?
think one of the biggest mistakes is definitely trying to chase heavy numbers and then jeopardizing their technique,
Hmm.
their speed, and in worst case, their health. So if it's not done correctly, especially in young years, I think really heavy and unguided lifting can increase the risk of
Yeah.
injury. I think it's more productive for younger athletes to focus on coordination, get that brain muscle connection right, and focus on athletic movements like plyometrics and speed work. That'll just get you going from a young age and keep your training age young in the gym as well. So then once you're ready, you're grown, and you do hit the gym, you'll make gains much quicker.
Okay, so maybe just let's go a little bit one step further. So, what advice would you give to the high school swimmers looking to transition to that specific intense strength and conditioning demands to when they want to become the
Mhm.
top athlete here, or to be a part of just any top college program here? So it doesn't matter. So, what do you think that is necessary for them to look up to look up to?
Yeah, I think if you're a high school swimmer right
Hmm.
now, I think you should get in really good dryland shape first of all.
Okay.
So work on your core, work on your muscle
Yeah.
endurance, stuff like burpees,
Yeah.
plyometrics, just be in good shape physically. And then also something that every athlete should do no matter what sports you play. I've
Hmm.
mentioned it a million times
Yeah.
now in this
Yeah.
podcast. Plyometrics and speed work. Training your nervous system from a young age is the most important thing you can do as an athlete. Um, so once you're fit in that, you can transition into some basic lifts and build some muscle, some mass, and strength. So you can do main lifts like squats, pull-ups, and push-ups. Um, if possible, work with professionals, with coaches, trainers, if you have access to it, or do your research online. There's tons of material on YouTube and social
Yeah.
media. Ivan here is a great guy. He'll tell you what to do. He'll show you.
Thank you.
And
No, but
Yeah,
it just
that's my advice.
I like to take even like a squeeze a little bit more juice from any persons here. So that's why I would like you had a great success, including school records. So this is what I like to do just from your perspective. If you could attribute maybe just 1/3 of that success to maybe a single dry line, how should I call the routine? So what specific element of that routine would you give the most credit for of your success?
Uh, Thank you for those words, first of all. Um,
A pleasure.
I think it's really impossible to narrow it down to just one element
Yeah.
of strength and conditioning.
Hmm.
Um, I think the magic happens when you do all the things right,
Okay.
all the little things and all the big things, and you focus on every element of strength and conditioning.
Yeah,
So you're also doing the boring stuff, the annoying
for sure.
stuff. It's just as important.
Yeah.
Don't neglect anything. And I think you can think of your body as an engine, and if one part doesn't work, then it'll break.
Yeah.
So work on everything, be versatile, and do the boring stuff, do the little things.
Okay. So it's very deep, but for your personal perspective, so also looking forward as you conclude all your college career, how will you modify further on your strength and conditioning plan, just maybe to maintain that elite fitness outside maybe of the highly structured team environment that you uh, presume, of course, you had in US.
Yeah, so for me, the science-based philosophy
Hmm.
that we have here at Lynn
Yeah,
worked
yeah,
best for me personally. Um, so I'm gonna keep focusing on my body, knowing when to push and when not to push. And yeah, it just gave me great results. So I'm gonna take what I've learned here at this amazing place and from this amazing staff that we have here, and keep working with that philosophy.
okay. And for our listeners, maybe out there who are just recreational swimmers, what is the maybe one essential non-negotiable gym activity you will recommend that they should do every week to improve their swimming performance? Is there any kind of that you will also separate here?
I would say shoulder prehab and shoulder rehab
Okay.
exercises. The shoulders are just
Hmm.
most prone to injury in our sport, so keeping them healthy is really essential. Things like I mentioned earlier, internal and external rotations, stability exercises, and mobility, they'll keep your shoulders healthy and even improve your posture and just your overall well-being.
Hmm.
So if you need some inspiration for that, you're also welcome to check out my social media, my Instagram at Melcer. I have some shoulder exercises on there. But of course, do your research, talk with professionals,
Definitely.
and that's my number one tip.
So you mentioned very very clearly now that where the people can find you, but are there also some other platforms where the people can find you and follow your work?
Yeah, I currently use Instagram and TikTok. My name's Paul Melcer on both of these platforms. Check it out if you like to. I'd be happy. Just started some content there, sharing my life, sharing some fitness, wisdom, and yeah, I'll see where it takes me.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. People, you should go and follow Paul and his amazing work and journey. Paul, we practically came also to the end of this conversation. So this is just, of course, the beginning of that journey, and I'm really looking forward working cooperating with you on the future endorsements and projects. I think we covered a lot of ground today, and I hope it leaves also our listeners with more questions than answer after this podcast episode. But this is just my message to all of them and also for you as well. Just keep digging, so keep questioning, do everything like you said thoroughly. And of course, I want to thank you for your time that you take it today, and also to our listeners that spending if they stayed along the way. and with the time that is going on. So I want to wish you all the best in 2026. And to our listeners, until the next time, just stay curious. So thank you, Paul, for this conversation.
Thank you so much, Ivan, for hosting. This was amazing. I hope the listeners enjoyed it, and all the best and all the luck to all of you out there, and to you, Ivan.
For sure. So thank you, Paul.